So, Mark, did you see those renderings of that incredible project at the Stratosphere from the early 2000s? The coaster that they were going to build off the side of the tower. This project I followed. I wanted it to be built so bad. It was originally going to be like 650 feet, and then the neighbors complained, and then they made it shorter, and they still complained. And then Aero Development, the company that was building it, went out of business, and we never got that beautiful coaster.
What neighbors in Naked City in 2000? Like who's complaining about this? But this thing would have been amazing. I didn't know about it. I wish it had happened. It'd be so cool. It'd be something definitely that you would go down to the Strat multiple times instead of just like going down once to check it out. Maybe doing some of those rides. If this thing was still running today, I think it would be a huge draw.
I agree. I mean, it was a cool project. Yeah, the noise was the big concern, but it would have been one of those things that draw people to the North Strip over the top. You know, there was comments on X, people saying, well, it's a good thing they didn't build it because Aero went out of business, but that company had built so many coasters dating back to Matterhorn at Disneyland. They had been around a long time. This would have worked, but yeah, another sad project from Vegas past, and we'll never get anything like that.
No, not anymore. There's way too many lawsuits and stuff like that. Like that was kind of the era. We just have to move on and go with modern Vegas the way it is now. And I don't think, we'll ever see kind of that outlandish ride spectacle type of thing, at least not for a while in Vegas.
Fun fact, and maybe I'm making this up, but I believe the original version of that project was supposed to have King Kong on the side of the building with the coaster. How cool would that have been?
It's like Ready Player One, the movie, when they're going down the road.
We talked about rats on our last video, and so many people commented that they've seen rats all over Las Vegas. I was shocked to see that. I haven't seen any in Las Vegas. Caesar's Palace was mentioned a few times. The Crazy Ross parking lot across from Resorts World, that one doesn't surprise me. That place is pretty dirty. But yeah, rats all over Las Vegas, apparently.
Yeah, I'll have to pay attention next time I walk down to the Bagel Mania from Resorts World and kind of keep my eye out there. But usually they come out at night. I'm probably not paying as much attention. And it's kind of like you with bed bugs, how I always check every room for bed bugs. And you're like, I don't want to know if there are or aren't. So maybe I just don't want to look down. I just kind of keep focused forward and don't look in the bushes. It sounds like they kind of hang out in the greenery, the shrubs and stuff around the outside. So don't look down. Don't pay attention. One guy said it ran up and hit him in the leg, which I always wear like sandals in Vegas. So that would be terrible.
Yeah, ignorance is bliss once again. But yeah, thanks for sharing all of your crazy rat stories in the comments. So a cool offer came out this week from Tuscany. We don't hear about Tuscany all that often. I did cover them on the show not too long ago, and it's a really nice casino, much nicer than you would expect. The property itself is very nice too. Lots of greenery and things like that. But they're offering this $150 slot play promotion for new members. I don't think I've signed up, so I think I'm going to go do this. $40 for signing up, another $10 if you give them your email, so you get $50. Then if you go back a second time within 30 days, another $50, a third time, same 30 days, another $50. The one little catch here in the terms is they say on the second and third visits, they want to make sure you have a valid rating on either slots or table games. I'm assuming that just means that you actually gambled some real money, but how much, we don't really know. But a good way for locals to get this, or if you're on your trip, you can head up there a couple times during it and pick up some free slot play.
Yeah, I think it's a really great locals promotion. Like the wording for it and how long they had to write it out for this thing. It's like a full page memo. I like fell asleep reading it halfway through because it's so long. You think you'd come up with like a better way, like here's 3 bullet points, you just got to do these things. I don't know. It just seemed like they're kind of like trying to lose you in the details or something. But if you can take advantage of it and go multiple times, it's a great offer.
Totally agree. And I think we'll head over there and try to do it. For Jasmine and I, that would be, $300. I don't know if we'll get over there every time, but the fact that we have 30 days, I think makes it a little bit easier. We don't have to go back like the next day. And, it is a decent amount of free slot plays. So we'll follow up. Thanks to Pennies for Vegas. I think he's the one we saw share that memo. And, you can read the whole book all about it. And yeah, maybe they need to hire somebody to be a little bit more concise in what they do with a simple promotion like this.
Yeah, I mean, simple, keep it simple, stupid, KISS, right?
Well, I'll tell you who's keeping it simple. Re-Raw. Did you see this video? It kind of went viral on social media talking about how they sort of bring in people from Ireland, women specifically in this video. And I don't know if this is true or not, so I'm calling skeptical on this, but we'll share it anyway. basically saying they get a 1 year visa to come here and work. And if they can find a husband, then they can stay, or if not, they go back. I have to imagine, first off, a lot of them just coming here for the experience and want to go back and are not coming for a husband. I think that's a little, putting them down or, simplistic to think about that. But maybe a lot of men are probably going to be heading over there pretty soon.
I mean, I've been to Rira. I don't remember it being like fully, and she made it seem like it's fully staffed with people from Ireland. I had like an American girl waitress, so it didn't seem any different than any other Irish pub in the area. I mean, it's cool if they are able to get some people from Ireland a little bit more authentic than that respect. And like you said, I'm sure they want to come over, test it out for a year. And then if they find somebody and they fall in love and they marry, then they can stay longer. I'm sure they could apply for another visa and all that stuff. I doubt this company is like paying to bring people over to work in this bar. But it is a great Irish pub, probably my favorite Irish pub in Vegas, definitely on the Strip. People forget about it because it's in Mandalay Bay, it's in the mall. It's kind of buried at the very bottom end of the Strip, but it's definitely worth checking out. The food's pretty good, service is good. Really cool spot.
Totally agree. That's more why I wanted to cover this. And also, if anybody's heard this, is it true? Does this happen often? Like I said, I highly doubt everybody's motivation is for that. I have had Irish service there, though, before, and it's a great experience. They run that place well, good beer, great place to visit. Another great place to visit, also in Mandalay Bay, 1923 Prohibition Bar. But they also have another location in the Grand Canal Shops, and that location has this new magic show. I'm not going to try to pronounce the name. Is it Ledger Domain? I don't know what it is, but they're only selling 45 tickets a show. Now, this is a speakeasy, so a speakeasy now with a show. It's $93 for a ticket. It includes a drink, and it's supposedly really great magic, and I think a cool idea, very intimate if you're into that sort of thing.
Yeah, I've only been to the one in Mandalay Bay, and it was a cool experience, a nice little speakeasy, and it actually has like a hidden door, even though there's signs on it, so it's not hidden very well. But it's kind of cool. You walk in, do all that, and then we should note like there's the ice bar right in front of that, so you can hit all three of those things and do kind of like a Vegas trifecta. I feel like everybody that goes to Vegas more than a couple times should at least go to one ice bar. What do you say?
Yeah, I love the old Red Square at Mandalay Bay. That was the ice bar I did way back in the day because it had the whole Russian theming. Went in there, drank vodka with your big, Russian overcoats. But I think it is a cool experience. Maybe one that's jumped the shark for a lot of people. I feel like, is more unique way back when, and now there's ice bars everywhere. It sort of became one of those popular things to do. But if you've never been in one, yeah, a lot of fun drinking in the frigid temperatures. And yeah, what do you drink? Vodka? I think that's what you're supposed to do, right?
Yeah, they have other stuff, but yeah, they have vodka. They have like things that you could pour the shot through and it runs through the ice and comes out the other side, all kinds of cool stuff. And it's really not as cold as you think it's going to be. You get gloves and all of that, but it's a really cool kind of experience to hang out in. You can end up spending an hour or more down there if you want. It doesn't get too bad.
As a reminder, we just launched our new channel, 20-Minute Travel, the fun side of miles, points, and travel, talking about our real-life travel experiences, how we're using miles and points to travel for quote-unquote free. This week, Mark shared tips on timeshare presentations, how to earn a ton of points there, saving on tickets by buying at the airport, all kinds of stuff. 20-Minute Travel. Check it out. Thanks to everybody who's watched, subscribed. So good news for Laughlin lovers like you, Mark. There's a new bridge, finally. The original bridge that connects Bullhead City to Laughlin opened in 1987. I think before that you had to take a river ferry across the river to get there. But it's only 2 lanes and it often gets backed up, especially during big events and stuff like that. So for like over a decade, they've been planning this bridge and they finally opened. It's 8 miles south of where most of the casinos are. So it's connecting them to other towns on the other side. It's really good because in Laughlin, they don't really have good medical services. They don't have great grocery stores. Not a ton of people live there. So it's another way to get to the casinos, but also connecting these neighborhoods together. This is a great development. I don't know what else to say about it.
It's kind of crazy that you had to take a ferry to go across until late 80s. Like you would think that would have been done, earlier than that. But this is cool. I mean, I've only seen Bullhead City from Laughlin, but that's like chain restaurant mecca, it looks like. So if you're over in Laughlin and you're, jonesing for some chain restaurants, you can head over there. I'm sure they have a ton of other stuff too, but it definitely looked more built up where, like in Laughlin, outside the casinos, there was only what, like a handful of restaurants driving up and down the strip and stuff like that. Not a lot of shopping. So you definitely want to be able to get over there and get over there easier. So this will probably help get some of the traffic, the commuter traffic back and forth will free up that bridge for that. And most of the long haul traffic will go to the other bridge. So I think it's good.
Yeah, they have the ability to make it wider too. It's one lane in each direction, the new bridge, but they can expand it. They added new roadways. So this will be really great for residents and everybody out there. So maybe this will mean that Laughlin has a resurgence, Mark. It's coming back. Everybody's going to head there just because of this beautiful new bridge.
I still need to fly in there. I got to take up on one of those offers just to fly into Laughlin. I think it'd be kind of cool.
So our next story is about Virgin, and Virgin, since it opened, has been part of Hilton's Curio collection. And indeed, it's been managed by Hilton. And that was part of their strategy to have different operators for the hotel, the casino. We now know Mohegan Sun is leaving the casino, so it's going to be taken over by Virgin. And Vital Vegas is reporting that Hilton is sort of out. So the hotel is going to change into a franchise by Hilton, meaning that they're not going to manage it anymore. It'll be managed by Virgin. They just got to keep up with the brand standards, stuff like that. This is a great development, I think, because it's going to bring everything together in one roof. And this is what we really needed. Now they just need to kick Hudson out so we can get some real shops.
And Dunkin' Donuts, or at least make it look less airporty. But yeah, this is a great development. This is kind of like what we complained about from the beginning. As soon as this opened, it just felt disconnected, 3 different visions, kind of all over the place and not really cohesive. So I wish Virgin would have done it from the jump. And I think they realized that mistake, and this is kind of them admitting that by taking over certain things, or maybe it's just to save money, who knows. But it's good for us because it ties in the people that are running and owning the hotel also are running and owning a casino, so they can work out better deals, better promotions for you, maybe give you a free room easier versus, they probably had to like pay out certain things to do it. So Mohegan Sun is less likely to do it if they're not also reaping the rewards of the hotel. So it's just better to have it all streamlined.
I agree. And I think Hilton did a great job running that. I really like the hotel part. So this isn't really about that. It's about bringing everything together in a cohesive way. So hopefully this works. I mean, it could backfire, right? And the people that they bring in aren't running it as good as Hilton did. But the good news also, it's going to stay with Hilton as a franchise. So you can still use points, your status, and free night certificates, things like that. So you still get all the benefits of the Hilton Honors program, which is great. So let's hope that this place keeps marching in the right direction. It does seem like they're going that way. And I think it was big news for Mohegan Sun to be out of there. I can't wait to see. I really do hope. I've said this a million times on the show that they renovate that casino in some way, lighten it up. Like it, I mean, the hotel is so light and white and like airy, and then that casino is so dark. I don't know what they're going to do just a few years in, what budget they have, but that's what I'm looking forward to.
I mean, at least paint it, like paint it a different color or whatever. But kicking Mohegan Sun out made a lot of sense. I don't think anybody was against that. And you bring up a great point on the Hilton aspect. Like the hotel has been the most successful part of this endeavor, and it's full quite a bit. Everybody seems very happy with the rooms and the service. So this is a little bit of a risk because if they don't bring in the right team, it could crash quickly, and then you just, tarnish the one thing you had.
So we have an update on Mirage and the sort of demolition going on there. Back where the dolphin pools were, the secret garden, and the elusive topless pool, which I know a lot of people hadn't heard of. Admittedly, I had forgotten all about this. It was a little pool in the back. Never had any experience out there, but they're getting ready. The hotel's still open. Everything's still going, but that doesn't mean that they're not moving forward. And when you see these pictures of it, and it all kind of flattened, you realize just how much land there really was for the dolphin habitat, the secret garden. I think this is going to be more convention space. We're not sure where the theater is going to land in all of this, but this is a ton of land for them to expand. They're already making good progress on it.
Yeah, it really is crazy. It's bizarre just to see. I mean, that it's planted trees and all this stuff and greenery. It's not really a part of the desert. But then when they rip it out and you see the void, it's pretty stark there in contrast. And pull up both pictures. I'm sure you're showing them on the screen right now, but you really do it's like, wow. But it just goes to show you how big into this Steve Wynn was and how supportive of Siegfried and Roy's dreams that he was, and giving up this much land. I mean, back then it didn't mean as much as it does now. We just saw Fontainebleau paying over $100 million for 5 acres behind the strip. That's a lot of undeveloped land that they could have been making money on. And I know people paid for tickets and stuff, but it was never drawing as much as convention space or something along those lines would have. So it's kind of crazy that it lasted as long as it did.
Yeah, it was just a nutty experience, like the dolphin habitat, like a big aquarium on the strip, even the zoo, the secret garden. I remember back in the day of the Mirage, they would have the white tigers in the casino. I forget exactly where they were, but they had a section in the casino area where you could see the white tigers, and then you could do the whole secret garden experience. Just a whole different time. Animals not even really allowed anymore in Las Vegas for entertainment, which is probably a good development, but yeah, future progress, and that's happening. Also, the Tropicana, we have to share the latest progress there. Starting with June 1st, Bryce sent us these pictures, and these pictures are so gorgeous. I just have to show them. I know they're a little bit dated, but I'll show you an update. And this great picture with the lion, the MGM lion out front, and the Tropicana going down. Beautiful pictures there. And then we also see the update. That tower, that front tower, is being dismantled slowly, and I guess only the bones will be left by the time they implode it.
Yeah, I feel like we're getting robbed on the implosion quite a bit here. When I saw the picture, I'm like, what the heck? They're not going to have anything left to blow up besides, like the steel beams and stuff. That's no fun.
Well, as long as they don't put a big cloud of asbestos in the air, I think we're okay with that. But yeah, it's kind of fun to see this. And thanks to everybody on social media. A lot of people are documenting this as it goes on. It's kind of a cool moment in history. Let's just hope that it doesn't end up being a parking lot or abandoned, that we actually get the projects. I know there's a lot of naysayers. I want to see projects there. It would just suck for the Trop to be going away for nothing, but this will be a couple more months, and then that thing will be gone, and then whatever happens next happens.
Well, maybe MGM will buy it and build something. You don't know. I mean, I don't know if the A's are going to go there or not. I'm like 95% sure Bally's is not going there.
So I finally found out where all the A's fans are. I was in Japan just walking through this random department store, and they had these A's shirts on for kids. Like there wasn't any other baseball shirts, any other baseball related anything, not even Japanese baseball related stuff in this area. It was just a bunch of random shirts and then the Oakland Athletics. So I guess all their fans are in Tokyo.
I always love that when you go into a store, like you go into like a Walmart in one state and they have college jerseys from like a state across the country. And you're like, what? Did somebody mix up the boxes and ship them here? Like, I doubt anybody's here, buying UCLA swag. I don't know. It's so weird.
So we said we don't know what will happen with the Tropicana. Well, maybe the Zathlete Village is going to be there, or actually it's called the Z Athlete Village, but I'll just call it Zathlete. And this is a $1.2 billion project that was announced this week without funding and without a site. So let's just keep that in mind. Skepticism should be high here, and they're looking for investors. So if you want to blow some money, this is the place to do it. It's going to have the world's largest indoor track and field arena. It's going to have an indoor aquatic complex, gymnastics complex. Basically, all the Olympic stuff is going to be here. He was going to build this place in Scottsdale. Now he's moved to Vegas. What are the chances this happens? 0? 1.01?
No, 0. I mean, if this was in Russia in like 1984 or whatever, when Rocky 4 was filmed and taking place, I don't know if that was like the 80s or 90s, but if this was Russia and they're like, we're going to build this complex to win all the Olympics, then I'd be like, okay, yeah, that's going to happen. But I don't know where the money for this is going to come from. And unless you had a whole bunch of agreements lined up to host a ton of events, Olympic type events, college events, high school type of stuff, like I don't see why anybody would put the money down for this.
I love the there's so many renderings. There's videos, there's renderings. I'll put a link to their website because they really went overload on all of the renderings and stuff. But there's a rendering of the complex where all of these different buildings are going to be, and they're all lined up in a row. It almost looks like a warehouse complex or an office complex with like landscaping around parking spaces. It doesn't look like an athletic complex or something of this scale. I don't know. It looks very amateurish. I always hope that these new projects work, but we've been doing this long enough to be a little bit skeptical.
It's like they use SimCity and they're like, boom, here we go. Now let's take a video of it, clip it, and put it on our website. I don't know. If you're going to build it, put it like out in Gene or Prim or something like that.
All right. And Prim for Trim, no mention of that on this. I'm a little disappointed.
I was waiting for it to go there.
Well, let's end with this. The Eagles at the Sphere. The Vegas Sphere has another landmark act coming. The Eagles, this has been rumored for a long time, and I think a lot of people are going to be excited about this. They have announced 8 show dates, and from September through October, so various weekends that they're doing it. The artist presale starts June 18th, with the general sale going on June 21st. We probably should assume that they'll announce more dates. That's been sort of the case with every other act that has announced for the Sphere, so this is probably just the initial sale, more dates to come, hopefully. a lot of people excited about this. I think it's a great score for them.
Yeah, I think it's a big name to bring in, and a lot of fans. So I think they'll pack the shows for sure. It's just more of the same, and we'd like to see a little bit of variety in this, and maybe go outside. But it's kind of crazy that these further along bands that have been in the industry for 30, 40 years are the ones that keep signing up to do all of this like intensive imagery and all this stuff, when you think it'd be leaning towards like the younger generation. And I don't know if that's just not them reaching out to the younger generation, or if they're not willing to take it on. But it's just kind of curious to see.
Maybe it's just that these longer established bands have more of a fan base where they feel like they can fill the seats for this many shows. I mean, that's really something that's lost with other residencies at, like, let's say a 5,000 seat theater, where it's a lot harder to draw 18,000 people. I mean, that's why we see them concentrating on the weekends and stuff like that. But maybe that's been their strategy. I mean, certainly a lot of the rumored bands have been older bands from, past eras. But yeah, I mean, the Eagles, Hotel California, I'm sure it's going to be fantastic to see all the visuals that they come up with.
Yeah, it'll be really cool.
So let us know what you think about anything we talked about today. The Zathlete Village, the Eagles coming to the Sphere, the Demolition at Trop, Re-Raw. Have you heard any of that craziness? Anything we discussed? Hit us up in the comments. We do 2 shows a week, Tuesdays and Fridays. We're still very close to 50,000 subscribers. Tons of you, tens of thousands of you that watch every single show are not subscribed. So please hit that subscribe button. Help us get past 50,000. We would really appreciate it. Thanks so much for watching. Talk to you next time.
Have a good week, everybody.